We are all called to step into that greatness, to step into that power, and to show up powerfully. And you can see and you can feel in that energy of Queen rocking it out there, and all of us chanting together, that this is so powerful. This is the response to existential risk, and we can actually do it together, and we can actually create and generate this ripple throughout the world. So the journey that I want to take us on today, and that we are taking together today, is to ask the question, like, what would it mean in my personal life to really play a larger game? What does it mean to participate in what we're calling here this Unique Self Symphony, and to play my unique instrument? So even today, to be aware of, like, okay, Dr. Marc Gafni cannot be with us here today, but it's a huge invitation, and there's a huge trust here for us here, for each and every one of us here, to hold the pillar of our temple here, to be a space holder, to be a leader, to show up powerfully. So maybe you can notice in yourself, like, how does it resonate in you? Showing up here and hearing, oh, Dr. Marc Gafni can be here today. What does it move in you? Do you lean back and do you feel like, okay, well, maybe you just turn it off, or you just lean back and say, okay, let them do it? No, actually, it's an invitation to show up even more. So maybe you can feel that pull in your heart, like, okay, what does it mean for me right now to show up more today, to share my attention even more today, and to feel that how much it really matters. We are here together as evolutionary mystics, as revolutionaries, and we are here together, and that's our intention, to claim our seat at the table of history, to realize that it's really us, all of here together. We are the chosen ones, as we say, because we're all the chosen ones, and everyone that can feel this evolutionary impulse vibrating inside themselves is the chosen one. So to feel that calling and to feel that invitation, as we ask this question here in One Mountain every week, and Dr. Marc Gafni leads us into intention setting here every week. What is our intention? Why are we here? And it's not a repetitive question. It's a question that we need to contemplate on again and again and again. So if you're new here, I want to invite you to actually go to those links in the chat box that we shared earlier, and maybe we can put them in again. That will give you a clear vision of Dr. Marc Gafni's Dharma, and answering that question, like, what is One Mountain, Many Paths? Why are we here together? But in my own words, to give, and in the words of the Dharma, of course, to give us first some big context, why are we here? But then asking that question, why am I here personally? Why are you here personally? So that's our intention for today. So we always say that we're here to respond to existential risk with a new story of cosmo-erotic humanism. So when I posted that on my Facebook timeline the other day, my mother was texting me, or even responding in a comment saying, what is existential risk even? You always use these difficult words. I don't get it. And of course, I'm Dutch. My mother is Dutch, so maybe that's also part of it. But what does it mean, existential risk? What it means is that the risks that we are facing as a humanity, the risks that are actually threatening the existence of humanity. So it's the risks that are threatening our very existence, and they're not only threatening, risking the death of humanity, but also the death of our humanity. So you can think about climate change, you can think about wars, but in Dr. Marc Gafni's writing, there's a whole list. There's so many risks that we're facing today. And what we're trying to do here today is to actually make sure that we as a humanity and as a beautiful planet Earth actually have a future here together, that we can continue our lives together by responding to existential risk with what we are calling a new story of cosmo-erotic humanism. And just to be aware of the context is that this new story is being articulated by a whole group of people, and it's being articulated by us, by everyone that wants to step in and participate in what is this new story for a new humanity. And so to be aware that One Mountain, Many Paths is our weekly live broadcast, but it's part of something so much bigger. There's so many people involved. So One Mountain, Many Paths is part of the Center for World Philosophy and Religion, where we're trying to articulate this new story as a context for our diversity. So it's a shared story, but it's also a context for our diversity. So to feel that space, to feel all these people working on it, and to know that we are a powerful part of that. So that's a huge invitation. That's really, like we say, taking our seats at the table of history. And then to ask that question, like, okay, what does that mean for me in my personal life? And can I allow my personal desires to be part of that? So to move between that global intention, the biggest intention that we can set, that we can create, but then also making it very, very personal. Why am I here today? What inside of me, inside of my heart, what was the evolutionary impulse that says, yes, I'm going here today? Or why did you put it in your calendar every week and you're showing up here every week? So to contemplate on that question, why are you here today? What is your unique, deepest heart's desire that brings you here today? And so we'll contemplate on that more in our journey today. But I wanted to start by sharing a few of my desires to inspire you, maybe to expand your own desires. So why I am here, one of the big reasons is to move from loneliness to loving, as we say in the Dharma. So to find that place in myself where I can feel separate or lonely or disconnected, and to always bring myself back into this field of outrageous love. And it's so much easier when we actually have each other, when we feel each other, when we are in this field together, that we know that we are in this band of outrageous lovers together, and that we are not alone, and that we are loved and needed and desired. So that's a very personal desire that I feel in my own body, in my own heart. But then also to know that my life is meaningful, that I, with my small life, can actually contribute something that matters, that truly matters, and to feel that urgency in my body every day, that I feel like, okay, what I'm doing is the right thing, it's aligned with my values, and my life is meaningful. That gives me personally so much energy also to get up every day, every morning, and contribute and co-create with other people. And then also it's, of course, to respond to suffering, to know that there is a response to suffering, that all this outrageous pain that is happening in the world right now, that we can actually together as a unique self symphony, and we'll talk about that today, that we can actually respond to that, and that there is a response. And instead of feeling completely overwhelmed by the news or by the suffering that we're witnessing, that we can turn that around and actually say, okay, I'm going to show up powerfully. I know that I actually have a purpose here in my life. I know that my life is meaningful. I know that my unique gifts are needed. And yes, I want to show up for that. And I want to participate in that. And I want to powerfully show up for that. So that's another reason why I am here, is that I want to know my power. I want to know the greatness that I am capable of. And I can imagine that's for all of us here, that like we want to know what is the best that we can do, and that gives a great feeling, but it also contributes a whole lot to the world, and that's actually what reality needs of each and every one of us. So those are a few images and inspirations, hopefully to inspire your own desire and to spark your own desire in your heart. And I wanted to also ask you, Christina, if you would be willing to share a little bit about your personal desire, what brings you here today, and what brings you in this revolution in general.
Thank you so much, Krista. Wow, it's everything that you just said, I resonate with so deeply. And for me, it is that personal journey that I was on, that I am on, of coming from a traumatic environment, from working through emotional trauma, but also having a spiritual life, but not having a container, a home for my spiritual life, and doing some research about that and discovering that my own personal growth was literally affecting the cosmos, that transformation is a process of enlightenment, and that transformation, when done in the context of a soul, of God, of humanity, of playing the bigger picture, of holding the bigger picture, that it is literally affecting the cosmos and all of time and evolution and love. And so that is why I come here. Part of coming here, I was actually reaching out to people to find this home. And I reached out to a friend of the Dalai Lama, and they were just kind of looking at me like I was odd or weird, like trying to figure this out. And then I discovered the ideas of Barbara Marx Hubbard in conscious evolution. And then Barbara introduced me to our beloved Dr. Marc Gafni. And ever since I've had these deepening relationships with Barbara, who I got to hold hands with in an Uber taxi and stay at an Airbnb with Barbara and listen to her in the kitchen of our Airbnb, sort of think about her talk that she was going to give at the board meeting for the Center for Integral Wisdom the next day. I have had this great honor of being woven into this Unique Self Symphony and finding my own capacity to contribute to the planetary awakening in love. And so all of that is so real and ever so emergent. And I'm just so deeply, deeply honored to be woven more deeply into the cosmos, into my own being, such that, for instance, in this last couple weeks with the death of Sinead O'Connor, I have been able to feel her and feel the planetary awakening that she was speaking to around the Irish genocide and the ways in which she wanted all of humanity to come together to end this kind of oppression and genocidal energy and war. And through her death, I am experiencing her gifts. And that's something that would have been really painful and confusing to me. But now that I'm woven with us, I can hold it much more fully. And as the transformative sort of cauldron of fire and force that it is. And so there's a taste of why I'm here, and I'm so excited to be with everyone in Europe really soon. And I turn my word back to you, Krista.
Yeah, thank you, sweetheart. That's beautiful and so powerful to hear one of so many stories what brings us here. And we could go around and have everyone speak an amazing, beautiful, sacred autobiography, like what brings us here, what brought us here, that evolutionary impulse that's moving in us that brought us here together today. So thank you, Christina, for sharing your beautiful story and inspiring us with your beautiful heart. And so today we're going into our evolutionary love code of today that will be read by David. And after that, we will hear some of the Dharma by Dr. Marc Gafni, by a beautiful recording of him, about what does it mean, Unique Self Symphony, and what does it mean to play our unique instruments in this symphony. So first, I'll turn to you, David, to read our evolutionary love code of today.
Thank you, Krista. Thank you, Christina. Beautiful testimonies. And isn't that interesting how, I mean, I'm resonating with your desires. And I'd imagine a lot of us are resonating with your desires. And that's because we're in the field of desire together, right? So we actually share at the deepest, most profound parts of our being this same field. And I think the deeper that we go, the more all of our desires converge. Right? We have a self-organizing universe within us that is yearning to be more, to express itself more, and to experience more love through us. So this evolutionary love code is part of this new story, which, as Krista mentioned earlier, is a context for our diversity. But this new story is what actualizes our deepest heart's desires. It actually points out the territory of our own interiors. And so we can resonate with that. And some people say, well, it's a theoretical. It's actually not theory per se. I mean, certainly it has theoretical components to it, but it's it's pointing out instructions of our own interiority and of the deepest structures of the cosmos. So as I resonate the code, we can tune in to what feels real to us in our own experience, in our own aliveness. And also another thing I'll mention is that I sometimes look into my own body and imagine the trillions of cells that are all desiring, right, to live, to love, to be, right, and actually conspiring to enable this body, heart, mind, unique self named David to give of himself. And it's just kind of amazing how there's so much devotion just encoded within my body. Now, certainly there's some cancerous elements that want to take over and you know, take over the whole. But generally, there's a symphony within me, right? All of us have this symphony. And so similarly, we're all invited to play our instrument in this cosmic unique self symphony. So that was all just in context for this code here, which I will read now. This week's evolutionary love code. Your clarified heart's desire is the evolutionary impulse awake and alive in you, as you and through you. Your clarified heart's desire is the tuning fork of your unique self. Your unique self is the invitation and demand of the self-organizing universe that you choose joy, join genius, and play your instrument in the unique self symphony. I'll resonate it again. Your clarified heart's desire is the evolutionary impulse awake and alive in you, as you and through you. Your clarified heart's desire is like the tuning fork of your unique self. Your unique self is the invitation and demand of the self-organizing universe that you choose joy, join genius, and play your instrument in the unique self symphony. And three times is a charm, so I'll do one more. This one's for you, Krista. Your clarified heart's desire is the evolutionary impulse awake and alive in you, as you and through you. Your clarified heart's desire is the tuning fork of your unique self. Your unique self is the invitation and the demand of the self-organizing universe that you choose joy, join genius, and play your instrument in the unique self symphony. And with that, it's my pleasure to turn it back to you, beloved Krista.
Thank you, David. It's so powerful how you resonate the code and how the Dharma and all of this is just oozing through you. It's such a delight to receive that. Thank you so much. So now let's receive this Dharma on Unique Self Symphony from Dr. Marc Gafni through a beautiful recording of him speaking at the Outrageous Love Festival in 2019. And I chose this piece for today because I remember sitting there in that room, and I remember the energy building up and building up and building up. And this piece is so powerful because it has these core first principles that we're speaking about here that shape together this new story of cosmoerotic humanism. So it speaks about outrageous pain, it speaks about suffering, it speaks about how we need to respond with outrageous love, it speaks about what our unique outrageous acts of love is that is ours to commit. And then we're going into a practice, into a contemplation, and after that we're going to blow it out with another beautiful piece by Dr. Marc Gafni. So let's go all the way inside with Dr. Marc Gafni. Thank you.
Live in a world of outrageous pain. The only response to outrageous pain is outrageous love. We live in a world of outrageous beauty, the ocean. The only response to outrageous beauty is outrageous love. But we will not look away from outrageous pain. We will not explain it in Buddhist terms. We will not explain it in Western Christian terms. We will not ignore it. We can step closer. We can step back. But our commitment as homo amor is never to look away. Right? We can step closer even between us. We can step closer, we can step back, but we're not going to look away. So the commitment of homo amor is not to look away. right? The commitment is we live in a world of outrageous pain. That outrageous pain is happening in this second. Are we depressed about it? We're devastated by it. And at the very same moment, celebration. The ocean. The whole story. We laugh out of one side of our mouths, we cry out of the other side. But I'll tell you one thing. I don't want to come to my dying day, which all of us are going to come to. And it's not over when it's over. We talked about this in depth. There's a continuity of consciousness. And the one thing that I don't want to be said to me is, wow, I spend my life just thinking about me, or my little inner circle, or my family, or the bunch of people around me, or my business, which are gorgeous and beautiful. I want to be able to say that I felt bigger. I moved from egocentric love. And then I went to kind of ethnocentric, right? I was able to love in a wider circle, the evolution of love. And then we went to kind of Live Aid concert, 1985, Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson, right? We are the world, right? And wow, then we went to cosmocentric intimacy, when I stopped butchering animals and eating them for breakfast, because I could actually feel the world, right? I'm going to give you an image, okay? Right? Give me an image, okay? Here's the new piece. You ready? Here's the new piece, okay? Just going to couple of steps. Ready? We got a drum roll in the house. We okay? Are we on day 7? Are we awake? Are we alive? Did anyone sleep last night at all? Okay? Okay? Are we okay? Okay, so here we go. So we're going to play. Okay? So it's like this. Let's just go through the whole thing. We're going to do 6 hours, 3 minutes. Are we ready to go? So step 1, we live in a world of outrageous pain. Finish the sentences with me. We live in a world of outrageous pain. The only response is? Outrageous love. Outrageous love means it's not ordinary love. Right? It's actually Tagore, right? It's the love that's the heart. It's not mere human sentiment. It's the heart of existence itself. It's the inner Eros of evolution. It's not a reaction. It's a perception. To be a lover is to see with God's eyes. The God you don't believe in doesn't exist. To see with evolutionary eyes, right? So far, so good? So if I awaken to my true identity, my actual identity, which is in shadow, right? Shadow is not only my imperfect offering, but I'm split off my actual identity. So therefore, I've got to cover it up with pseudo-eros, and I act out of the integrity of my own identity, right? And so my actual identity is I'm homo amor. Right? That's why I'm a unique expression. I'm an irreducibly unique expression of the love intelligence and love beauty and love desire. We might call that an outrageous lover. Okay? So far, so good? That's 2. So 3, what do outrageous lovers do? What do they do? Acts of love. Outrageous lovers commit outrageous acts of love. And get the energy of outrageous. Right? We're not going to actually shift the source code and feed 2 billion people by being outrageous. But they commit outrageous acts of love. That's 3. 4. Anyone can do this, right? 4. What's 4? Which outrageous acts of love should the outrageous homo amor commit? Number 4. Which ones? Anyone? Those that are a function of my unique self. So I can't commit, right, Christina's. Right? I can't commit Krista's. Philippe can't commit Stephanie's. Stephanie, right, can't do, right, Mark's to do. Mark can't do, right, what's Govin's to do. Right? We get that? So no one's extra. Right? No one's extra. So to be a unique self is, do it with me, right? It's the answer to the question of who are you? I am homo amor. Meaning, who are you? You are homo amor. You are an irreducibly, with me, an irreducibly unique expression of the love intelligence and love beauty. That's the initiating and animating eros and energy of all that is, that lives in me, as me, and through me, that never was, is, or will be ever again other than through me. And as such, I have a unique perspective and a unique quality of intimacy that allows me to give my unique gift into my unique circle of intimacy and influence that can be done by me and me alone. Okay, that's step 4. But now we got to go to the next step. We got a problem. That's our last day. Now is our next step, okay? What we have seen in visual images of suffering today, 2019, only God saw 100 years ago. What does that mean, right? So what do we do, right? The images of suffering are so intense. So the Enlightenment teachers, my dear friends, right, tell us that we're too egoically involved. We don't feel enough. It's not true. I'm not willing to indict all of humanity. It's just not true. It's not who we are. It's not that we don't feel enough. It's that we feel too much, right? But what do we feel? It's fucking too much, right? So we got to put that on the table. We can't close without that, right? It's too much, and it's overwhelming, right? And so what do we do when it's overwhelming? But I want you to get this, okay? we try and steal our heart back from the one love, one heart. We close our hearts, right? We dissociate and we say, I'm going to do right, I'm going to do ordinary love, whatever we call it. And we close our hearts because in the gap between our ability to feel the pain and our ability to heal the pain, we close that which participates in the one heart. We close our heart, right? So actually it's the one love, one heart, but I close, right, the access portal to the one heart, right? So in the gap between my ability to feel the pain and my ability to heal the pain, not because I'm contracted, small, and petty. Thank you, enlightenment teachers. Thank you, religion. No, because I'm gorgeous. Because I'm an outrageous lover. Because I feel everything. And at some point in each of our lives, either we never succeeded in an opening, but more likely, there was a moment we saw pain. We don't even remember it. We don't have time to do it now, but we closed our hearts. So what do we have to do? There's only one move we can make. We have to close the gap. Right? We have to access our ability to feel again. How do I do that? What you do is you say, fuck the whole world. Now stay with me. I don't give a shit about the whole world. You got to do that move. Fuck the world. Fuck the world. The whole thing. I can't solve the whole thing. I'm not responsible for the whole thing. However, fuck the whole thing except for that which is mine to do in my unique circle of intimacy and influence. You get the move? We actually got to release our responsibility for the whole thing. I act for the sake of the whole. You get that distinction? I act for the sake of the whole, but I'm not responsible for the whole thing. If I'm responsible for the whole thing, I'm crushed. But what am I responsible for? And for each of this is completely different, right? If we can, I'm responsible for my unique gift in my unique circle of intimacy and influence. You get that? And that's completely different for every person. Now, what's the plot line? You guys finish the sentence. We all know this. What's the plot line of the self-actualizing cosmos? Right? It self-actualizes, it self-organizes to higher and higher levels of creativity, complexity, consciousness. Each one of these is a day. Uniqueness, love, intimacy. Those are the plot lines. Each one of those is a plot line. It's moving towards coherence, and the coherence is creativity, uniqueness, complexity, consciousness, uniqueness, more and more love, more and more intimacy. We now go all the way up the evolutionary chain. We're evolving deeper and deeper intimacies. We come to the human being. The human being awakens, right? The human being awakens. We go from hominids on the savannah till self-reflected human beings thinking about thinking, drawing paintings, right? Making music, right? Doing trade, exchanging art, right? The hominids wake up. And now we go through this evolution of love that continues, and reality continues to self-organize, right? In exteriors, right? From hunter-gatherer, right? To early farming, to later farming, to industrial, to informational, right? But also in interiors. So in the self-organization, the self-organizing universe of cosmos, we go through, right, all the stages of evolution, and now we hit the modern period, and we're confronted by the second shock of existence, not the death of the human being, which is the first shock of existence, the realization of death at the dawn of history, but the second shock of existence, right, the possible death of humanity. We need to self-organize. To self-organize means we need to produce, to generate new structures of intimacy. You get that? Right? We need to generate new, that's what evolution does. When there's a crisis is a birth. We're not afraid of existential risk. We're alive, we're awake, right? We're discerning, right? We're concerned, we're passionately engaged, but we're not quaking, we're optimistic because evolution is moving someplace. So what does evolution generate, right? Crisis is an evolutionary driver. Our crisis is a birth. Every time there's a crisis, we generate a new configuration of intimacy. From single-celled oxygen crisis to multi-celled. So now we need to generate two new structures of intimacy. The first structure of intimacy, homo amor, unique self. Who am I? My name's Jack. I'm homo amor. I'm a unique configuration of intimacy and desire. Right? You get that? We got it. My name's Lily. Right? My name's Samantha. Right? My name is, right, Juliet. My name is Romeo. Right? Who am I? I'm a unique configuration of intimacy and desire. So there's this new big bang where I awaken to I'm homo amor. That's one. It's not enough. Homo Amor needs to actually self-organize, in which everyone plays their unique instrument. So instead of pheromones between ants telling us what to do, what actually awakens the human being to play their instrument? Their own interior experience of their deepest heart's desire, which is my unique evolutionary blueprint that lives in me. Because my desire is not separate from the field of desire. My desire is a unique configuration of desire. Right? Reality is desire. That desire lives uniquely in me. I'm a unique configuration of desire. So instead of pheromones, I follow the unique pattern of my deepest heart's desire, which I have to clarify to actually get to it, which is my evolutionary blueprint in order to play my instrument in the Unique Self Symphony. And the next generative structure is called evolutionary intimacy. And evolutionary intimacy is beyond unique self to unique self symphony. So imagine, instead of a top-down corporation, instead of a top-down government, imagine we had a unique self symphony playing in the world, a Homo Amor Facebook. Right, a synergy engine with people committing outrageous acts of love all over the world, referring to kind of a literature on Homo Amor that's been generated they can access, but it's actually really simple. You just you get on, you say, wow, you get like 2-3 steps, and then you immediately, say, wow, what is my outrageous act of love? And then you share it, and then it inspires. And all over the world, you see this unique self-symphony of outrageous acts of love being committed, and we've actually generated a new structure of intimacy, and the new structure of intimacy is unique self. It's the new story, right? The parts greater than the sum of the wholes, and it's unique self-symphony. Right? 3 new structures: unique self, the identity of Homo Amor, the new story, right? Parts brought together, ideas brought together, having idea sex, attracted to each other, right? Because each idea has a quality which create a new narrative which is greater than the sum of the parts. And that new narrative, right, climaxes, explodes in a new structure of intimacy, evolutionary intimacy, which is unique self-symphony. Okay? Unique self-symphony. So who am I? I'm a unique self playing my instrument in the unique self-symphony. What's the prerequisite? Okay, let's find each other. What's the prerequisite for participating in a unique self-symphony? 1, we got to look in each other's eyes. Step 2, we got to trust each other. We got to trust each other. We got to, right? To speak of your love in the morning and to trust you in the nights. That's 2. 3, we got to be willing to be allured to each other. Right? 4, we got to generate a co-creative space. We got to move in the world from procreation to co-creation. There's got to be a synergistic space which we can generate. We can have that kind of relationship with each other. But here's 5, and the key is we got to forgive each other. We got to forgive each other, right? Right? We got to forgive each other.
Wow. Yes. So let's take a moment and feel into that and just let it move in your body and let it move inside your heart. With that question, what would it mean for you to take your seat at the table? What would it mean for you to take your unique risk? What is this Dharma? What does this new story mean in your life? So I just want to take a moment and contemplate on that with you while we're listening to some music, but really just close your eyes and let your heart speak. What is the deepest heart's desire that wants to speak in your heart right now? So we'll take a few minutes to do that, and then we'll go into another journey with Dr. Marc Gafni. Speak of your love in the morning and trust you through the night. To speak of your love in the morning and trust What does it mean for you in your personal life to participate in a planetary awakening of love? And you can keep it on the screen, please, Jamie. Thank you. What does it mean in your personal life to participate in a planetary awakening of love through your unique self, through Unique Self Symphonies? In what way would your life be different if you would take your unique risk to the next level and play a larger game? And if you want, you can write it in the chat box and share it with us. Speak of your love in the morning and trust you through the night. To speak of your love in the morning and trust you through the night. So now that we have maybe a tiny fragrance of our own unique heart, of our own unique desire, connecting it to your personal life, let's feel what it would feel like to connect your unique power, your unique life story, and kind of plug it into this bigger field of a unique self symphony, where your unique self is in full power, fully shining, fully showing up, but then connected into this network of other amazing unique selves, other evolutionary whole-made partners that were actually singing the same music together. And this next clip, I want to invite you to feel that you have every role in this next vision that we're going to see. You are on the stage, you are in the audience, you are everywhere. We are all invited to be in that unique power. So let's take a look what that can actually feel and taste like.
Now let's take it inside. We're inside, we're in Unique, so we're getting the fragrance of Unique Self Symphony. Now take it in, silence the punch, breathe in. So you think, okay, there's no place else we can go. We're done, we've got one more step, and it's higher than that. So take it in, one more clip, take it in, one more clip. So here, what do we got? What do we got? Imagine, and this is our enactment, this is our vision, imagine that each person in that audience, right? Keep it up if you can, right? Each person in that audience, okay, had a self-identity of homo or more. And imagine that. Each one actually, I'm a unique self. It's not separate self, broken, pseudo, Actually, each person actually knew, and then that, in the next step, and then that actually activates people around the world. So in the last step here, watch the boards lighting up around the world. The next clip adds something critical, right? They're not yet Unique Self Symphony, but you begin to see it amplifying all through the world. And now just imagine in our enactment of this, this is our vision, right? If you dream, you make it happen. The only thing in the way of our dreams is we're too small. Let's expand, let's dream it, right? The whole world, right? Homo more, Unique Self Symphony, and then the boards, right, light up, right, all over the place, okay? And then the hammer falls, right? Then it changes, right? Then it moves. Then the whole thing happens. Take us inside. Watch the boards. Look what's happening around the world. Watch it all over the world. It's lighting up. Unique Self Symphony. All over the world. Unique Self Symphony. It's happening all over the world. We're going to take it inside. We're going to let the clip go. We're going to kind of find our seats, and we ended on the last clip. We didn't end with the ecstasy of the clip before, which we could have, right? Why don't we just end there, right? Because we're doing Dharma. In the last clip, you saw it ripple through the world. Did you get that? In the last clip, you saw each one was drumming, he was guitaring, and it rippled around the world. Right? As they were coming together as Unique Self Symphony, so now imagine Home on More Facebook. Right? Imagine, right, the Dharma in play. It's the last piece in our exercise and we're done. Last piece. We don't just want to join genes. Thanos pointed out that joining genes, as beautiful and gorgeous, I'm madly in love with my 4 children. We should love our children madly and have children all the time. And we can't just join genes to fight against death, to populate the earth in a time in which we have exponential growth. Let's have our gorgeous families. I'm madly in love with mine. But then we got to do is we got to go from joining genes, Barbara, my dear friend, to joining genius. Right? Can you feel that? From joining genes to joining genius. From procreation to co-creation. Not just being role mates, raising the kids, which is beautiful. We're role mates, we're raising the kids, but there's such a gap between us. Now we're gonna close that. We're not gonna be soulmates. We're gonna look deeply in each other's eyes, maybe. But what happens when that's just not enough? Right? Let's be heretics in the church of love. Right? To be looking deeply in one person's eyes my whole life is insufficient. It doesn't work. You can't make one person your idol. Right? When you make one person your idol, you're in idolatry. You can have a gorgeous monogamous relationship your whole life and be ecstatic. But if that's where all of love is invested, it will crash and burn, I guarantee you. Right? You got to actually be participating in the ocean. Waves are coming in. Waves are coming in. Outrageous love. And outrageous love means not that I marry 100 people, it means I look in each other's eyes. It means we fall in love with each other. It means we move, we're not just soulmates, holy gorgeous, but we actually create a new category in reality, right? Wholemates. Wholemates. Right? We're wholemates. We can actually join genius. Right? The motive force of reality for procreation was pleasure. And the motive force of reality for co-creation is pleasure. Wholemates come together because it's pleasurable. Because joining genius is hot. It's hot. It's the hottest thing you can do. Right? I'm joining genius to co-create. And here's the image. A planetary awakening in evolutionary love through unique self symphonies. Is that gorgeous? Is that gorgeous? Right? It's like, right? A planetary awakening. Now, you said, impossible. Look what we just saw. That was a fragrant image of it. Right? The only thing that's in our way is the smallness of our imagination. There's no reason whatsoever that we can't in this room manifest that. We have enough potency. We have enough power, and as Homo Amor, we are power hungry. Not for power over, in its decadent sense, but the power of transformation. The power of 4. The power of evolution moving uniquely in me. We have enough power in this room. We have enough potency in this room. We have enough love in this room. We have enough evolutionary love in this room. We have enough creativity in this room. We have enough desire in this room. We have enough goodness in this room. We have enough integrity in this room. We have enough delight in this room to manifest that exponentially. Not exponential breakdown that we talked about on day 1, but actually exponential explosion, right, of a planetary awakening in evolutionary love through unique self symphonies, the Da Vinci moment enacted in the Renaissance by not more than 1,000 people. That's us. That's this moment.
That's us. Oh my God, that is us. So I don't know about you, but I'm sitting on the edge of my chair, like, yes, feeling this. It's us, a planetary awakening in love through unique self symphonies. So the journey that we've been on today is we've said that yes, we want to show up. We want to respond to existential risk with this new story of cosmo-erotic humanism. And we realize that it has to be what we call anthro-ontologically true. I have to feel it in my own bodies. I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my cells. I can feel it in my soul. And I want to say yes to that. But then I need to clarify, what am I exactly saying yes to? What is my unique self? What is my unique, deepest heart's desire? How does reality want to move through me uniquely right now in this field? And then I start to listen to that and I start to clarify, like, what is the outrageous acts of love that only I can commit in my unique corner of the world? And then we start to come together and we start to join genius. We meet other evolutionary whole-mate partners. And as I'm saying this, these whole-mate partners are actually going to be appearing here on the screen, because we are inviting you to what is called promote as panelists, so you can turn on your camera and we can actually see each other here, and then we'll blow it out with a dance party. But to feel each other, to feel that we are evolutionary wholemates together, that we are this unique self symphony that we just saw on the screen. We are the audience, but we are also the superstar rocking it out on the stage. And we are all called to step into that greatness, to step into that power, and to show up powerfully. And you can see and you can feel in that energy of Queen rocking it out there and all of us chanting together that this is so powerful. This is the response to existential risk, and we can actually do it together, and we can actually create and generate this ripple throughout the world, as we saw in the video, where we are activating other people in our lives to also start showing up, to become Homo and more, the fulfillment of Homo sapiens, to become the embodiment of outrageous love. So that is the invitation here. That is our intention here. That is why we are coming here together. That's why we have the commitment to show up here every week and share our attention, which is so important to make this Dharma actually bloom and clarified every week here with Dr. Marc Gafni. And that's also why we are coming together at Eros Mystery School again this summer, which is the 11th edition of the Outrageous Love Festival. So these images that you just saw were from 2019. We come together every year and we're clarifying this Dharma, we're clarifying this new story of cosmo-erotic humanism, but we're also activating it, we're embodying it, we're becoming it, and we're stepping into this field of enlightenment where we are actually together in person, but you can also join online, but even better in person, is where we can feel like, oh, this is my unique self. And in that field, it actually emerges and it awakens in you. So it's an amazing, powerful place to be. So if you want to join, you can still join. It's August 21st until August 25th in Belgium, a beautiful castle in the middle of nature. And there are still a few places left because we were sold out, but then we decided to rent some extra beds and create some more rooms. And so you can still sign up if you want to join live. Please do that right now. But you can also participate online, and we have an amazing team of people who are hosting and who are making sure that this online experience is just like being there real, and you will begin to feel and get a taste of what this Dharma is all about and meet other outrageous lovers in the online community. So that's also an amazing experience that I can really recommend.